Welcome to the 1 Hour Guide by Anil Nathu. Today we're diving deep into Jonathan Goodman's The Obvious Choice, 15 lessons on success, profit, and finding your way.
Yeah, this is a fantastic book. It really gets to the core of what helps businesses and individuals to really succeed. Goodman's main idea, it's just so powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Success isn't really about shouting the loudest.
Right.
It's about being incredibly clear, becoming that, natural, obvious choice for the right people.
Exactly. And for anyone listening, maybe you're an entrepreneur, a leader, or just, figuring out your own path, this deep dive, we wanted to be super practical. We're not just going to summarize.
Mm.
Our goal here is to pull out those key insights, the stuff about trust, specificity, consistency,
Uh,
and actually show you how you can put these ideas to work like right away.
okay, so let's kick off with part one. It's called A Few Not So Obvious Truths.
Hmm.
And this part, it really lays the foundation. It challenges some of those common ideas we have about ambition and what success looks like. It's more about looking inward first.
Yeah, building that sustainable base. Chapter 1, When Ambition Results in Recklessness. That one jumped out at me immediately. Goodman points out how easily our drive, our ambition can just turn into, well, chaos, especially with all the comparison online.
No, absolutely. It's that constant feeling, right? Like you're being pulled everywhere at once. You see what everyone else is supposedly doing, their highlights, and you feel this pressure to do everything. Now,
Which just leads to frantic action, but not necessarily progress.
exactly. Just spinning your wheels sometimes.
And that's where this bug book technique comes in. It sounds, I don't know, almost too simple, but it seems really insightful.
Hmm.
How can listeners actually use this?
Yeah, it is simple but effective. So the idea is set 5 alarms on your phone throughout the day. And when each one rings, you just quickly note down 2 things. Your emotional state, like on a scale, maybe -2 to +2, negative to positive, and what you're doing right at that moment. Do that for a week. The real magic isn't just tracking how you feel. It's forcing you to kind of step outside yourself for a second. You look at the data without your usual stories or justifications, and you start seeing patterns like, whenever I do this task, I feel drained even though I thought it was productive.
Ah, okay. So it helps you see what really works for your energy and focus.
Precisely. It lets you identify that chaotic activity, the stuff that feels busy but doesn't move the needle, and consciously subtract it. Make room for, true focused ambition.
That's a really practical way to build self-awareness. Then chapter 2 shifts gears a bit to trust in you, your credentials. Such a crucial point.
It really is. Goodman's basically saying, look, qualifications get you in the door, maybe, but trust. Trust is what actually seals the deal. He tells this great little story about how he picked his financial advisor, Ted. It wasn't about the fanciest degree.
Right.
It was because Ted was referred by someone trusted within his synagogue community. That pre-existing trust was the deciding factor.
It really shows the power of those networks, doesn't it? And he also brings up this idea of satisficing. The idea that people don't always need the absolute best option. Often they just choose one that's good enough, especially if they trust the source. How does that apply to positioning yourself?
Well, it means you don't necessarily need to overwhelm people with all your expertise. Focus on building that genuine connection, showing you understand their problem
Uh-huh.
and that you can offer a reliable solution. Make it easy for them to trust you. The story about the dude, the meat delivery guy.
Yeah, I like that one.
It's perfect. He wasn't the cheapest, maybe not the most exotic selection, but his
Yeah.
consistency, his friendly chats, just being there week after week,
Yeah.
that built massive trust and loyalty.
Simple human connection. And then he gives us the marble method for finding ideal clients. That seems very actionable.
Oh, totally. It's straightforward. Make 2 lists. List 1, your top 10 clients in terms of value, maybe revenue or impact. List 2, the top 10 clients you actually like working with. The overlap. That's your sweet spot. Those are your ideal clients, your marbles.
Now, you study them. Where do they hang out, online or offline? What do they read? What are their job roles? What problems do they really have?
So you build a profile based on your actual best experiences.
Exactly. Use your own data. Then you know who to look for. It connects to his beating Michael Jordan idea, too. Don't try to outmuscle the giants directly.
You already play a different game.
Yeah. Find your specific niche, your unique strength, where you are the obvious choice for a particular group. Like Bolton Foods focusing on that personal, local service touch.
Makes sense. Okay, chapter 3. Success shouldn't be a surprise. This feels like a necessary reality check.
It really is. We're just flooded with these overnight success stories, right? But Goodman warns us not to buy into the hype completely. They're often outliers, and the story we hear it usually leaves out the years of grind, the failures, the near misses.
He uses Monster beverage stock as an example. Huge long-term win, obviously. But if you look
That
closer, right, they were long stretches, years even, where it looked like it was going nowhere. Flatlining. It's a reminder that real success often involves these long periods that don't look like much from the outside.
So patience and consistency are key.
Absolutely. And the analogy he uses about Edward Thorpe and cheating, well, at blackjack, it's brilliant. Thorpe wasn't making wild, risky bets. He was making small, calculated bets where he had a slight statistical edge over and over, stacking small wins.
So translating that to business.
It means focusing on consistent, smart actions, building solid habits, not chasing every shiny object or trying for that one big risky win. We tend to look back after someone's successful and think, oh, it was obvious. But that's hindsight bias. Focus on the daily process, the consistent execution.
Well, Chapter 4 brings it back home.
Well-
Fix what's inside your fence first. This feels very much about nurturing what you already have.
Yeah, it's so easy, isn't it, to get caught up chasing new leads, new customers, and kind of forget about the relationships you've already built. Goodman shares that story about his wife's charity fundraising, sending personal messages to a small group of friends. Way more effective than blasting it all over social media.
A good reminder that personal touch matters, especially early on.
Definitely. And that story about Janet and her bridge posse,
Yeah.
it shows how powerful an existing trusted community can be for referrals. People you already know and who already trust you.
So how can listeners tap into their own bridge passes?
Well, think about the groups you're already part of. Professional groups, alumni networks, hobby clubs, whatever. Janet's Bridge Club worked because those relationships were real. The key is just being genuine, offering value within those groups, not always with an immediate ask. And he talks about human avoidance marketing, or HAM.
Ham. I like that.
Yeah, it's that tendency to just post online because it feels safer than, actually talking to people.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all are. Goodman actually suggests tracking your real human interactions for a day. Might be eye-opening. And remember that billionaire's advice he quotes, don't build a moat, build a bridge. Be accessible, build trust.
Right. And focus on sustainable growth. Like getting those $200 sales consistently can be much better than chasing one huge, uncertain deal.
Exactly. Build a solid foundation first.
Okay, that wraps up part 1. Some really solid mindset shifts there. Now, part 2. Becoming the obvious choice. This is where we get more into the how-to, the practical methods.
Right. And Chapter 9 kicks it off perfectly. Let your geek flag fly. I love this one. It's all about embracing what makes you uniquely you, your specific passions and expertise.
Yeah, it's such a relief from feeling like you have to be this bland generalist to appeal to everyone. So how do people, find and fly that geek flag?
Well, think about it. What do you genuinely love learning about in your work? What topics make your eyes light up when you talk about them? Goodman argues that deep knowledge, that real enthusiasm, it's contagious. It builds credibility. Being a little quirky, super specific about what you love, that's actually more attractive than being boring and broad.
So lean into the niche.
Totally. Don't shy away from the details that fascinate you. That's probably where your magic is.
Okay, then Chapter 10 asks a really interesting question. Discover the easy answer.
Yeah, and this isn't about being lazy. It's about finding the intersection of what comes relatively easily to you, what you're naturally good at, and what other people actually value and will pay for. He suggests asking yourself things like, what do friends or colleagues constantly ask your help with? What feels like common sense to you but seems hard for others?
What problems do you genuinely enjoy tackling?
Exactly. When you align your work with those easy answers, you're leveraging your natural talents. It makes everything feel less like a struggle.
That makes a lot of sense. Which leads nicely into Chapter 11, Become Famous to the Family. This feels like the real core strategy of Part 2, the human optimized marketing system.
It absolutely is. The big idea here is forget trying to reach everyone. Focus intensely on a small, specific group, your family, your ideal clients, and it's a 5-step system. 1, get your message super clear, speaking directly to them.
Okay.
2, focus on building real relationships, actual conversations, not just follower counts. 3, have a system for following up, for nurturing those connections.
Right, stay top of mind.
Exactly. That's step 4. Stay visible within that specific group. And 5, give them a reason to talk about you. Create value or experiences that naturally lead to referrals. He shares a success story, Benjamin, who really nailed this system. It's all about depth over breadth. becoming the go-to person for the right people.
I like that focus. Then chapter 12 gives us a great productivity rule. Hashtag monkey first.
The juggling monkey. It's such a good visual. Identify the single most critical task, the monkey, that truly moves your business forward.
The one thing that has to get done.
Yes. And do that first. Before email, before distractions. If sales calls are your lifeblood, that's your monkey. If getting referrals is key, make that your monkey. Build your day around it.
Simple, but hard to stick to sometimes.
Right.
Okay, chapter 13. Find your so that. This seems crucial for messaging.
It really is. It's about getting beyond just listing features or describing your process. You need to articulate the real outcome, the ultimate benefit for your customer.
The why behind it all.
Exactly. So not just I help people lose weight, but maybe I help people lose weight so that they feel confident dating again, or not I build websites, but I build websites so that your amazing business looks as good online as it does in real life.
Connecting to that deep, often emotional result.
Precisely. That's what resonates and drives decisions.
Okay, and chapter 14 takes a perhaps surprising stance on social media. Social media is not enough.
Yeah, it pushes back a bit on the hype. Goodman basically says, look, social media can be useful for building long-term credibility. Think of it like a savings account for trust.
Okay, a long game.
Right. But for generating immediate sales. Often not the most efficient tool. He suggests a 4-stage content approach. 1, observe your audience. What are they struggling with? 2, document your raw thoughts on that. 3, distill those thoughts into clear messages. And 4, share it where your actual audience spends time, focusing on building that long-term trust, not instant conversion.
Got it. Less about quick wins, more about relationship building over time.
Exactly. And finally, in part 2, chapter 15 talks about whales and minnows. Focusing your efforts. Yeah, this is about client selection. He makes a distinction. Minnows are those small clients, maybe high maintenance, low value, who drain your energy.
We've all had a few of those.
Oh, yeah. And whales are your ideal clients. They value your expertise, they pay well, the work is fulfilling. So the advice is, clearly define your whales. What do they look like? What do they need? Then design everything, your services, your marketing, to attract them.
And crucially,
learn to say no to the minnows. It frees up your time and energy to serve your best clients really well. Better results, often with less overall effort.
Wow, okay. Part 2 definitely gives a clear playbook. Now, the book wraps this all up with a really great case study. Elaine's second act, becoming the obvious choice.
Elaine's story is just perfect for illustrating these ideas in action. You've got this super experienced executive or retiring COO, right? But she's facing that classic doubt. How do I start a consultancy now at 60? How do I stand out online?
It's very relatable. But what's cool is how she uses the book's principles. Instead of trying to be everywhere, she totally embraces that famous to the family idea, leveraging her existing network.
Exactly. And you see her applying the specific techniques like the bug book. She uses that to figure out, okay, my energy is high when I'm mentoring or presenting, low when I'm wrestling with tech.
So she outsources the tech stuff. Smart.
Right. And focuses on purposeful writing, things that use her strengths. Then she nails down her so that helping female leaders get to the C-suite without burning out. That's specific, it's emotional, it's powerful.
And the Marble Method helps her zero in on who those leaders are.
Yeah.
Based on her past positive experiences.
And then instead of blasting generic marketing, she parks the van on the right street. She focuses her energy on specific corporate women's groups, leadership associations, places where her ideal clients actually are.
She implements that whole human-optimized marketing system.
She does. Clear message, deepening relationships, targeted visibility, getting referrals, using social media sustainably, and she lets her geek flag fly. She owns her operational background, her specific experience, even her dry humor. She's authentic.
And she avoids that chaotic ambition trap by keeping her model simple. High-value clients, quality over quantity.
Exactly. And the result? She launches successfully, gets fully booked, works part-time hours she wants, earns a great income, all by being the obvious choice for the right people. No need for some massive fake online persona.
It's such a practical demonstration of the power of these ideas. A really good example of the kind of insights you find in the 1-Hour Guide by Anil Nathu.
Absolutely. Elaine's story just ties it all together. The internal clarity from part 1, understanding the customer fit, using simple systems, being authentic, and growing deliberately. It proves you don't need to be everywhere.
You just need to be the obvious choice where it counts.
That's the essence of it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Jonathan Goodman's The Obvious Choice, The big takeaway really seems to be shifting focus. It's not about more noise. It's about more clarity, more trust.
Yeah, it's about really understanding who you serve best and making it incredibly easy for them to choose you. Focus, trust, consistency.
We really hope you, the listener, can take some of these ideas and think about how they apply to your own work, your own goals.
Whether you're starting something new or looking to refine what you're already doing, these principles are pretty timeless, I think.
This has been a great exploration of the obvious choice. 15 Lessons on Success, Profit, and Finding Your Way 1-Hour Guide by Jonathan Goodman, brought to you today by the 1-Hour Guide by Anil Nathu.
Definitely a worthwhile read, a very human approach to business and success.
Thank you for joining us today. Buy the book at the 1-Hour Guide website for more business insights.